young, beautiful, and sensual. They appeared on the cover of a magazine that fascinated the world. Their photos sparked the most passionate fantasies, but their lives were far from easy, and many met tragic fates. Today on Hollywood True Crime, the dark side of being a Playboy bunny. Playboy was founded in December 1953 by Hugh Hefner. His goal was to satisfy his own fantasies and excite those of other men. Showing female nudity was essential, but it wasn't the only focus. He envisioned a sophisticated product with articles on politics and culture, and pursued ambitious projects. For instance, Ray Bradbury's novel Fahrenheit 451 was first published in the magazine. This is how he built a brand and an empire. However, the main attraction was still the photos. Famous women posed, but many others launched their careers thanks to the magazine. These women became known as playmates. They were also called bunnies, referencing the rabbit logo that became synonymous with the publication. Initially, this term was reserved for the waitresses at the Playboy clubs. Some bunnies or playmates broke taboos and became legends, but very few escaped the most terrible ordeals. Some cases became widely known, and today there is talk of the Playboy curse. Before becoming an icon, Marilyn Monroe appeared on the cover of Playboy's first issue. The most famous blonde was never contacted by the magazine. In 1949, she agreed to pose without clothes on a red backdrop for photographer Tom Kelly. She was paid $50, just another modeling job for her at the time. When her movie career took off, Hefner bought the photos for $500. The strategy worked. The first issue, which Hefner put together in his modest kitchen, sold 50,000 copies. Marilyn had never given her consent for her image to be used, but that didn't stop the magazine's success, and it never harmed her. Despite her unusual connection to Playboy, Marilyn Monroe's life was marked by pain and tragedy. Her death remains one of history's great mysteries. After Marilyn Monroe, Jane Mansfield became Hollywood's next blonde bombshell. Early in her career, she didn't catch the eye of major studios, but she did get Hefner's attention. He offered her a spot in Playboy. She eagerly accepted since she had posed naked before. She appeared in the February issue that year, and her popularity soared. It even landed her a contract with 20th Century Fox. Even when film offers slowed down, Playboy always welcomed Mansfield. Each year, she appeared on the cover to promote her films or stay in the spotlight. She became friends with Hefner, and together they pushed the limits of what could be shown. When her 1963 photo shoot was published, Hefner was arrested for obscenity. Mansfield hoped the scandal would help her new movie, Promises, but society had grown more conservative and turned away. In the following years, Mansfield faced marital problems and addictions. To stay active, she performed in nightclubs. On June 29, 1967, she performed at Gus Stevens Supper Club in Mississippi. After the show, she headed back in a 1966 Buick Electra with 3 of her children, her lawyer and lover Sam Brody, and an employee. Since she had a TV appearance the next day, they took a different route. On a curve, they collided with a truck. All 3 adults, including Mansfield, died instantly. Jane Mansfield was 34 years old. Though she never reached the top, she achieved cult status. Originally from the Netherlands, Willy Rey broke the mold of Playboy's usual blondes. With red hair and a voluptuous figure, everyone at the magazine was dying to hire her. Rey became the Playboy cover of February 1971 at just 19 years old, which didn't stir any controversy back then. However, complaints came from somewhere unexpected. As Playboy Enterprises aimed to go public, stock certificates were illustrated with her centerfold, shocking Wall Street. Thanks to Playboy, Rey had a modeling career in Japan. But nothing eased her inner turmoil. Being far from her family depressed her. She began taking sleeping pills and resumed this habit when she moved back to her childhood neighborhood in Vancouver. There, she was found dead on August 13, 1973. The press initially reported Rey had taken her own life, However, her ex-boyfriend George Heslop said she had asthma and accidentally took too many sleeping pills and lost control. The exact cause of death was never clarified. Born Mary Eileen Chesterton, Claudia Jennings started at Playboy as a receptionist. Her charm caught the eye of Hefner, who picked her for the November 1969 issue. By 1970, she was named Playmate of the Year. Her Playboy photos sparked interest in Hollywood and landed her roles in TV shows and major films. However, she found real success playing lead roles for low-budget movies, many produced by Roger Corman. Soon, she earned the nickname Queen of B-movies. Despite her career success, Jennings struggled with bad habits. Her lowest time came during the filming of Death Sport. She arrived on set looking miserable, which caused frustration among filmmakers. Just when it seemed she had hit rock bottom, Jennings decided to clean up her act. She knew she was ready to take a step in her career and found success co-starring in Fast Company, directed by David Cronenberg. She was even considered a promising actress by Steven Spielberg. However, tragedy struck on October 3, 1979, as she drove along the Pacific Coast Highway and died in a car accident. She was 29. No illegal substances were found in her system, a testament to her commitment to improving and moving beyond being known only as a playmate and a B-movie star. Dorothy Stratten had all the qualities of a future star. At 25, she became a bunny at the Century City Playboy Club in Los Angeles after making it to the finals of a Playboy contest. She was on the cover of the August 1979 issue and appeared on Playboy's Roller Disco and Pajama Party TV special. These successes brought her into Hefner's inner circle. Her charm also helped her land small roles in movies and TV shows. Stratten was a rising star but had a huge problem: his husband, Paul Snider. He controlled every aspect of her career and life, overseeing contracts and finances. He was obsessed with her, decorating their apartment with her photos and even getting a license plate for her Mercedes that read Star 80, believing she'd be the next Marilyn Monroe. Her big break came with the film They All Laughed. During filming, she fell in love with director Peter Bogdanovich. Happy to be with someone who respected and gave her more freedom, she asked Snider for a divorce. On August 14, 1980, Stratten and her ex met to settle financial divorce matters. But instead, he arrived at her home and shot her in the face with a Mossberg 12-gauge shotgun. After doing unspeakable acts with her dead body, he took his own life. Dorothy Stratten was only 20 years old and had been named Playmate of the Year in 1980. She was laid to rest at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery in Los Angeles, next to Marilyn Monroe. Blonde and stunning, Pamela Anderson became the ideal playmate. She began posing for Playboy in 1989, eventually doing 15 shoots and appearing on 14 covers, setting a record for the magazine. She also had her own series of videos that made fans drool. But her fame soared in 1992 when she joined the cast of Baywatch. Anderson became the sex symbol of the 90s. However, her personal life was full of scandals. She had relationships with celebrities. Her first serious relationship was with Bret Michaels. But her most notorious romance was with Tommy Lee, drummer of Motley Crue. They married on February 19, 1995, just 96 hours after meeting. From the beginning, Anderson and Lee were a passionate and impulsive couple. They used a video camera to document their honeymoon at Lake Mead, Arizona, focusing mostly on the hot parts. They stored the tape in a safe, locked in their Malibu mansion. Soon after, those images were spread through pirated VHS copies and the emerging internet. The couple discovered the safe had been raided by Rand Gauthier, an electrician. He disabled the alarms and tried to steal money owed to him, but found much more in those tapes. This incident became the first viral video before they even existed, and inspired parodies and TV shows. Despite their ups and downs, including Anderson accusing Lee of domestic violence, they had 2 children together. She eventually married and divorced 5 times. Despite all the drama and her bad relationships, Pamela Anderson knew how to navigate Hollywood and earned her place in pop culture. Star Stowe was a total powerhouse. Her stage name, Star, wasn't just catchy. It showed her love for the stars and how much she believed in herself. She even got a tiny blue star tattooed near her private parts. She hit Playboy with her boyfriend at the time, Gene Simmons, in the February 1977 issue. At just 20 years old, she rocked an electric guitar in her photos and became the first playmate to ever show off a tattoo. She fell into hard substances, which broke her up with Simmons and kicked her out of the Playboy scene. Then came a bad marriage, a son she couldn't care for, and a failed shot at being an exotic dancer. Her addictions took over, and she ended up having to turn to sex work. She made a tragic comeback in the news on March 16, 1997, when her body was found behind a drugstore. Police said she was strangled, and the investigation tied her death to other women's killings in the area. The strongest lead pointed to a serial killer, but the authorities never found any suspects, and the case remains unsolved. Elisa Bridges wasn't your typical Playboy Bunny in the 90s. With her natural good looks, she stood out from the crowd. She landed the December 1994 issue and kept busy filming videos for the company from 1996 to 2000. While keeping up her work for Playboy, she had relationships with high-profile figures. One of them was Edward Nahum, a theater entrepreneur who was friends with Hefner. On February 7, 2002, Nahum returned to his Beverly Hills mansion and found her unconscious on the guest room's bed, where she often stayed. He called 911 and tried CPR, but paramedics arrived too late, and she had already passed away. A few days later, Playboy posted on their official website about Bridges' death. Alongside condolences, it suggested that she died from natural causes. However, the autopsy report revealed she had died from acute drug poisoning by a mix of painkillers and illegal substances. Police only found a bottle of prescribed Xanax and a glass with traces of unidentified white powder in her home. Nahum admitted the 28-year-old had struggled with depression, but he never thought she would take such drastic action. He also denied she had any bad habits, though her father later revealed otherwise. Elisa Bridges' death remains a mystery. Anna Nicole Smith, alongside Pamela Anderson, embodied Playboy in the 90s. Born Vicki Lynn Hogan, she was a single mother working as a stripper in Houston, Texas until 1986. Following a friend's advice, she dyed her hair and got breast implants, which later caused her back pain, leading to a painkiller addiction. Her life changed when she married J. Howard Marshall, an 86-year-old billionaire who showered her with luxury and introduced her to the Playboy world. She appeared on her first cover in March 1992 and was named Playmate of the Year in 1993. With the looks of a 90s Marilyn Monroe, she landed contracts with major brands like Guess and built a modest acting career. Despite her rise to fame, her marriage with Marshall stirred controversy and ridicule in 1994 amid speculation about her motives. But when Marshall passed away a few months later, she received no inheritance. After Marshall's death, her life took a downward turn. Neglecting her image and facing personal issues, she struggled to find steady work. The media, often portraying her as a stereotypical blonde living off her husband's wealth, judged her every move. Tragedy struck in September 2006 when her son Daniel died from ingesting a mix of pills and other substances. Despite personal setbacks, she sought to remain relevant in the public eye, even fabricating stories of childhood for attention. Her decline reached an abrupt ending on February 8, 2007, when she was found unconscious at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood. Rushed to Memorial Regional Hospital, she was pronounced dead from an overdose of painkillers. Playboy built its empire on the backs of the Playmates, but many of these women faced tragic ends, even dying young. Some cases remain unsolved mysteries, fueling rumors of a dark curse. Whether it's bad luck or something more sinister, these stories expose another side of Hollywood's darkest secrets. His passion for horror was setting him up to be the next master of the genre, but the terrors he brought to the big screen were overshadowed by the real-life horrors he committed.